Okay, let's talk about squat. Squatting is an important aspect to make sure we're doing it correctly. I really want to make sure we're doing it correctly without any weight. Then we progress by adding the weight. So a lot of times when I see people start to squat, they start with those knees and they start to bend. What we want is we want to kind of do a little hop. When we do that hop, we're going to put ourselves in the right hip position. Now, sometimes we'll do a wider squat or we'll do a narrow squat, but in a general squat, if you kind of hop, it'll give you the right positioning of your hips. Sometimes we're a little bit more comfortable, a little bit wider than shoulder width. Sometimes you're a little more comfortable, a little more narrow than shoulder width. That's because we're all built just a little bit differently. So when you do that hop, you'll kind of naturally fit into that right position. Okay, so we want those ears over the shoulders and we want a tall chest. What we want to do is we want to drive those hips back first. So I always have people when they're starting think about sitting in a chair. Because when I say just squat, sometimes we kind of go like this. When I say sit in a chair, we drive those hips back, we sit down, and we come back up. Okay, very functional, and it's a great way to start. When I start people out on squats, I say squat to a chair and back up. Okay, now if that's too short, you can even add like a book so that you go to that depth and back up. Okay, it gives you that biofeedback, that cueing of making sure you're hitting that form correctly. Okay, so we're gonna just sit down and we're gonna drive through our feet. Okay, so I don't want it on our toes, I don't want it on our heels. Now, again, sometimes we're gonna modify, we're gonna do some things to kind of trigger some things, but a general squat, we're gonna push through that entire foot. We also, when we squat, we don't want those knees to buckle, okay? So you're gonna push it out just a little bit. So we're gonna have nice tall chest, ears over those shoulders. We're gonna drive those hips back. And as we squat, we're gonna push out just a little bit. Like obviously I'm not going wide, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna push through that entire foot. Okay, when you do that, you're gonna feel those glutes and those hamstrings kick in. This is a very quad advanced exercise. Okay, we're gonna use these a lot in our power, but you're going to feel that balance you out as we go through that entire motion. Okay, so again, nice tall chest, ears over there, shoulders. Okay, we're gonna drive those hips back. We're gonna sit down and come back up. Now, you might be saying, I don't have that range of motion. That range of motion can be limited from your hip, from your knee, and from your ankle, okay? So we need to make sure you're kind of addressing those issues, but you go to the depth that you can go. Like I said, it's okay if you're starting with just that chair, down and up. Touch that bottom down, come back up. And as you get a little bit more secure, you can come down and go maybe right behind it, right? Go just a little bit lower and get that working. As you build, then we're gonna start adding the weight, okay? But we're gonna go light and we're gonna build from there. Because what happens is a lot of times we'll throw that heavy weight in and all of a sudden here's our range of motion rather than getting that nice clean range of motion, okay? Now, I also, when I'm lifting heavy, I'm going to come down and I'm gonna be able to get that full range and all the way up, okay? So we really wanna make sure that we're having that nice form. We can also alternate that by doing some wide squats, right? Sometimes we'll do a wide squat or we'll do a sumo squat where we keep that in the middle and that chest up and high. We'll keep that weight right there, down and up. Sometimes we've done a suitcase squat where we have our hands on either side. We give ourselves a little bit more of a narrow base and we still squat down and up. Okay. So the last thing you want to think about too is what if we're doing this in a single leg? It's the same squat, so you can have that foot behind there, which might give about 10 to 20% of your body weight, and you're going to do the same motion, chest up, drive that all the way down, and pushing through that entire foot. Again, you can go back to sitting in that chair, down and up. Notice I'm not shifting at all. I'm keeping my weight nice and straight. I'm coming straight down and up, okay? So those are the ways we can squat. The last one I'm gonna show you is a kind of a caveat, is when we do a plie squat. With a plie squat, we're gonna turn our feet out just a little bit. We're gonna tuck our pelvis in, tall chest, and we're gonna come straight down and we're gonna squeeze those inner thighs as we come up. It's working completely different, a lot more in that dance mode, but sometimes that's a way to modify in doing some activity. So I do squats in a lot of different ways because they target the muscles in different ways. So I want to make sure that we're addressing all the ways to really properly squat so you are ready to rock any workout. Have a great day.